Chapter 17. Direct, Indirect Speech. Direct and indirect speech are used in instances when we wish to repeat or convey a speech or statement of some other person. Both direct and indirect speech describes what a third person said or conveyed in the past. There are two types of reported speech in English grammar. They are direct and indirect speech. Read the following sentences. 1. Shreya said, Samir is a poor boy. 2. Shreya said that Samir is a poor boy. These two sentences illustrate the two ways in which we may report the words of a speaker. In the first sentence, we give the exact words used by the speaker. This is called direct speech. So, direct speech is the mode of expression that directly presents the words spoken or quoted by a third person. In the second sentence, we do not give the exact words of the speaker, but give only the substance of what he said. This is called indirect speech. So, indirect speech is used when we convey what someone said in our own words. From sentence 1, we also learn that in direct speech, first, the exact words of the speaker are put within inverted commas. Second, the first word of the reported speech begins with a capital letter. Third, a comma is placed after the reporting verb to separate it from the second part of the sentence. From sentence 2, we also learn that in indirect speech, first, the reported words are not placed within inverted commas. Second, no comma is placed after said. Third, the reported speech is introduced by the conjugation that, if, to, what, when, etc. Fourth, the tense of the verb in the reported speech is changed from the present to the past. Rules for direct and indirect speech. There are certain rules and regulations followed while converting a simple direct speech into indirect speech. Certain factors such as verbs, tenses, modals, time, place, and pronouns are also considered while changing. Rule 1. Direct to indirect speech conversion. Reporting verb. The reporting verb is an important factor to note when changing a direct to an indirect sentence. When the reporting verb is past tense, then the verb inside the quotation is also changed to past when changing a sentence from direct to indirect speech. For example, direct, she said, I am sad. Indirect, she said that she was sad. An exception is for cases like a universal truth, the tenses remain the same. Irfan said, the sun rises in the east. Irfan said that the sun rises in the east. If the reporting verb is in the present or future tense, then tense remains the same as in direct speech. Direct, Rama says or will say, I am coming. Indirect, Rama says or will say, he is coming. Rule 2. Direct speech to indirect speech conversion. Tenses. If the sentence inside quotes in direct speech are present tense, it is changed to past tense when changed to indirect speech. The rule given below is applied while changing tenses from direct speech to reported speech. Present tense. First, simple present becomes simple past. Janvi said, Raman works very hard. Janvi said that Raman worked very hard. Preeti said, Prateek sings a song. Preeti said that Prateek sang a song. Second, present continuous tense becomes past continuous tense. They said, we are going now. They said that they were going then. Tamanna said, Swati is cooking tasty pizza. Tamanna said that Swati was cooking tasty pizza. Third, present perfect tense becomes past perfect tense. Savita said, I have done my work. Savita said that she had done her work. He told me I have been to Lucknow. He told me that he had been to Lucknow. Fourth, present perfect continuous tense becomes past perfect continuous tense. Sanjay said, I have been doing my work. Sanjay said that he had been doing his work. He said, she has been living in Delhi. He said that she had been living in Delhi. Past tenses. First, simple past becomes past perfect. She said, Mr. Khan arrived on Sunday. She said that Mr. Khan had arrived on Sunday. Mohan said, I washed the dishes. Mohan said that he had washed the dishes. Second, past continuous becomes past perfect continuous. She said, I was teaching earlier. She said that she had been teaching earlier. Nirmala said, I was studying last night. Nirmala said that she had been studying last night. Third, past perfect tense. No change. She said, the lesson had already started when he arrived. She said that the lesson had already started when he arrived. Fourth, past perfect continuous tense. No change. Gunjan said, I had been gardening all afternoon. Gunjan said that she had been gardening all afternoon. Changes in auxiliary verbs. First, shall is changed into should or would. Will is changed into would. He said Geeta will pass. He said that Geeta would pass. I said I shall beat him. I said that I should or would beat him. Second, may is changed into might. Can is changed into could. He said Ramesh may pass. He said that Ramesh might pass. She said, I can do the work. She said that she could do the work. Third, is or am or are is changed into was or were. Harshit said she is a nurse. Harshit said that she was a nurse. Was or were is changed into had been. He said Amrita was ill. He said that Amrita had been ill. Rule 3. Direct to indirect speech conversion. Interrogative sentences. If a sentence starts with the question word like what, when, and why is direct speech. The question word itself acts as the joining clause. For example, direct. Where do you live? Asked the boy. Indirect. The boy inquired where I live. Rule 4. Direct to indirect speech conversion. Change in modals. Modal verbs are those verbs that are preceded by another verb, which is the main verb. Can, may, and must are some examples of modals. Modals that would not change are could, would, should, ought to, might. While changing direct to indirect speech, the modals change as below. First, can become could. Second, may become might. Third, must becomes had to or would have to. For example, direct. She said she can sing. Indirect. She said that she could sing. Direct. She said I should cook the lunch. Indirect. She said that she could cook the lunch. Rule 5. Direct to indirect speech conversion. Pronoun. The first person in direct speech changes as per the subject of the speech. For example, direct. She said, I am in grade 6. Indirect. She said that she was in grade 6. The second person of direct speech changes as per the object of the indirect speech. For example, direct. He says to them, you have achieved your goal. Indirect. He tells them that they have achieved their goal. If the third person is mentioned in the direct speech, it does not change in reported speech. For example, direct. She says he sings well. Indirect, she says that he sings well. Rule 6. Direct to indirect speech conversion. Request, command, wish and exclamation. The imperative words in direct speech change into infinitives in the indirect speech. For example, request. Direct, she said to her, please remove it. Indirect, she requested her to remove that. Exclamation. Direct, she said, alas, I am done. Indirect, she exclaimed sadly that she was broke. Rule 7. Changes in punctuations. In direct speech, the word spoken must start with inverted commas and end with full stop. Inside the double inverted commas, all symbols such as question marks, full stops or exclamatory marks should be placed inside the quotes. For example, he asked, "Can I come with you?" She uttered, "Keep quiet." He said, "He is the best." Rule 8. Change of time. While converting direct speech to indirect speech, there are certain words to be noted that cannot be used as such in indirect speech. These words get modified into new words which are given below. Now becomes then. Ago becomes before. Thus becomes so. Today becomes that day. Tomorrow becomes the next day. Yesterday becomes the day before. This becomes that. These becomes those. Come becomes go. Hence becomes thence. Next week or next month becomes the following week or month. For example, direct, he says or will say, "My friend came yesterday." Indirect, he says or will say that his friend had come the day before.